You've been lied to. Santa is a cruel boss putting elves to work in his sweatshop with no pay and no Christmas spirit. Today, in the Escapists, our mission is to decorate his Christmas tree, steal his sleigh, and make a run for it. As I started my escape plot, I headed off to roll call like a good elf. The guards announced they're going to search my cell for contraband, but that's fine with me. I began my day searching the other inmate cells for anything to steal that could be useful. Then it was time for my manure control job. As I went through the compound searching for reindeer poop to clean up, I noticed a box with a Christmas tree symbol behind an electric fence at the top of the prison. I took note of this as this was probably a good place to find some supplies for my escape. I ended up taking almost the entire period to complete the job and fill my quota, so I knew I had to get a new job. After I checked the job board, I set my eyes on the letter organization job, the highest paying one. Unfortunately, another elf named Jaden already had it. I returned to my cell and tried to craft a bed dummy so I could sneak around at night, but I found myself not smart enough. So I headed off to a computer to study, but turns out the guards don't take kindly to me being in that area. That's right, kids, Santa doesn't want you to learn. After roll call, I waited until the coast was clear and headed back up to the restricted area and actually got a chance to use the computer quite a bit before I was caught by the guards, but I had more than enough intellect now to craft a bed dummy. At exercise period, I noticed another Christmas box. Unfortunately, it was behind a locked door, so I set my sights on breaking in to find out what was inside. After shower block, I headed off to the cafeteria to steal some plastic forks to start chipping down the wall, and I noticed yet another Christmas box in the room right above the kitchen. The generator was also there, which we would have to turn off to shut down that electric fence. I chipped most of the wall down in the gym, but I didn't have enough forks to finish. Then I headed off to evening roll call and back to my cell, marking the end of a successful day. I can already taste the freedom in the air. For day 2, my goal was to begin getting into some of those hidden Christmas boxes. At morning roll call, I gave some items to Jaden, including some delicious fried chicken to make him like me. My plan is to trick him into following me around the prison during work period so he can't complete his job and gets fired. I started searching the other inmates' cells again and found some duct tape to create a poster, an important item which I will use to cover up the hole I'm making in the wall. Once it was job time, I got Jaden to follow me down to the gym, where I finished making my hole in the wall with some more plastic forks. At afternoon roll call, I dismissed Jaden and took the opportunity to hide some of my contraband in the secret room by the gym. In the Christmas box there, I found some glitter, an item that Santa surely hates. It'll be useful to get my revenge as I make my escape. At free time, I snuck back to the computer to get smarter for a while, and then I checked out the Christmas tree, which instructed me to craft tinsel using the glitter I found, a roll of toilet paper, and some super glue. I could get the toilet paper easily from any desk, but glue would be a little bit harder. I also made sure to grab the letter organization job, the job that I made Jaden lose earlier. This will be a much faster and better paying job for me. I continued searching the other inmates' rooms for items to steal. I didn't find any glue, but I did come across some duct tape which I used to craft another poster. I used more plastic forks to begin chipping down the wall behind the kitchen into the generator room where the other Christmas box was. I wasn't able to finish it all the way as it was time for evening roll call, but it was still a successful day. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, please consider leaving a like as it'll help support the channel. I started day 3 by finishing chipping that wall, and in the desk I found a candy cane lever. I wasn't quite sure what to do with it yet, but I'm sure it'll be helpful somehow. It was finally time to do the letter organization job, shredding letters from naughty kids and putting nice letters into a bag for Santa. I then used some files and duct tape to create flimsy cutters, which I plan to use to cut down the electric fence that I found earlier. I did want to be able to cut faster than I could with flimsy cutters though, so I made it my goal to try to upgrade my cutters to lightweight or even sturdy. I also knew I would need some wires to make a fake fence to prevent the guards from noticing when I cut down the real one. I began searching the cells for those wires and I found them all just in time for afternoon roll call. I upgraded my cutters to lightweight and tried to upgrade to sturdy cutters, but I found I was too dumb. So I headed back to the computer room to discreetly study how to create cutting equipment. After surfing the web for a while, I finally got smart enough and crafted the cutters, but I realized a new problem. I would need to cut the fence at night or else I would get shot by the snipers. So I would need the key to my cell so I could come and go as I pleased. I would need to make a mold of the key that belonged to Officer 111. I marked his name before I started the game so I could know the correct officer. I gathered my supplies, including a Christmas cracker to knock him out instantly, as well as a wad of putty to make a mold of his key, and molten plastic to create a fake key. I couldn't find Officer 111 that night, but I would try to catch him the next day. The next morning, morning, I set my sights on Officer 111, but since he's one of the guards with us at roll call and breakfast, I had to wait until after I completed my job to knock him out and take his key. As I was preparing, I headed off and noticed a room which required a guard outfit to enter. I didn't have a guard outfit yet, but from the outside, I noticed yet another Christmas box. After roll call, I wasted no time knocking out the officer with my cracker, making a fake key, and stealing his uniform. I headed straight for the guard quarters to get that Christmas box, and inside I found some wrapping paper, another thing I'm sure Santa would hate, making it perfect to use in our escape. Then I moved on to the goal of obtaining super glue for the tinsel that I would need to decorate the tree. I couldn't find any in the cells, but another elf came to the rescue, selling me the elusive glue. I gathered the necessary supplies and crafted the tinsel. I almost got caught, but I managed to place it on the tree. That's another objective down, but I now needed to craft some fairy lights for the tree out of bulbs, wire, and batteries. I was sure I could obtain wires and batteries, but I didn't have the bulbs, so I guessed it was behind that electric fence, and tonight would be the night I would finally breach it. I gathered my cutters, key, guard outfit, and fake fence and checked in at evening roll call. I then headed off to the generator room, and as soon as the bell rang for lights out, I shut the generator off and swiftly ran up to the electric fence. The generator only stays turned off for a short period of time, so I knew the clock was ticking and I had to be fast. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it through in time, but I began cutting down the fence as quickly as I could, and thanks to my sturdy cutters, I was able to cut it down and run through. I opened the desk, and sure enough, there were the bulbs I needed. I ran out, put up the fake fence, and headed back to my cell, opening the door with my fake key, and went to bed excited to craft the lights and place them on the tree tomorrow. I woke up in the morning and quickly crafted the fairy lights. I knew I was so close to freedom, but I wasn't there yet. After breakfast and my job, I headed up to the tree, making sure the coast was clear, and placed the lights. The next thing I would need was presents, which I could craft out of a wooden ball, wrapping paper, and sticky tape. I also noticed another Christmas box hidden behind another door, which I needed a guard outfit to pass through. I decided to worry about that later and first focus on getting the wooden ball. I didn't know where that could be, but it sounded like a toy, and I knew there was a toy maker job, so I guessed that could be a good place to try. The toy maker area was behind a locked door, so I decided to steal a different key from another officer. This time I would use a scalding cup of cocoa to knock out the guard. After roll call, I gathered my supplies and headed off in search of Officer 555. As soon as I got him alone, I knocked him out with a cup of molten chocolate, made a mold of his green key, and headed off to the toy maker room. I unlocked the door and crafted a few toys using the supplies inside. I had to make a few different types first, and I began to doubt whether I was even in the right place, but eventually I finally created a wooden ball and breathed a sigh of relief. But I still needed the tape, and there was just one more place to look, that restricted area at the very top of the compound. So I grabbed my officer uniform and headed up there. After narrowly avoiding an officer elf, I snuck through the final door, and sure enough, in the desk, there was the sticky tape. I combined my wrapping paper, wooden ball, and sticky tape together to make the present, something I'm sure a kid would love and Santa would hate. As I placed them under the tree, I learned the final step was to procure some kind of lever. Lucky for me, I knew exactly where this was, in the generator room behind the kitchen. I pulled down the poster, grabbed the candy cane lever, and headed back up to the restricted area for the final time. As I put the lever in the slot, the wall opened up. I walked through to Santa's sleigh and finally escaped. If you enjoyed this escape, please make sure to subscribe and leave a like to let me know that you want to see more videos like this. Thank you so much for your support, and until next time, thanks for watching.